Yes, people, what is going on? Blues Fans TV. A little bit different from me today, but here we are. We're talking about a subject. You'll be able to tell from the title what I'm going to be talking about, which is the Premier League pay-per-view service, pretty much. Now, Chelsea's first game for this pay-per-view happens to be on Saturday against Southampton, and it's obviously splitting opinions for obvious reasons. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about it because from someone who's been involved in football, not necessarily at a Premier League level, but obviously I'm a fan of many football leagues around the world, and also I'm a big fan of non-league. And I went down to a non-league club on Saturday, and all of a sudden I just see there was a vast amount of people there, vast amount of people there, and partially that's because of international break. But this is going to happen more and more and more. Now, the Premier League, £15 to do pay-per-view games. For something like Chelsea, not going to lie, it's maybe not that impactful. It's still going to be a lot, and the likes of, Carefree Lewis G, who's currently taking a picture of me behind the camera, is going to be doing live streams and watch-alongs and stuff like that. So you'll be able to hear the game and see the games in different regards. But, we have to pay money to do that. We can maybe find it on a dodgy stream. I've even seen someone who was willing to do ExpressVPN, and I think get an account to Canadian, what's it called, DAZN? Is that the one, DAZN? Yeah, something like that. The one that do the boxing anyway. They're willing to get accounts and memberships and ExpressVPN to pretend that you're in somewhere completely different to be able to watch a game of football. And I rate it. I really do respect it. And I'll be honest with you, I respect anyone that is going to pay the £15 to watch a Premier League game. But I'll tell you the people I really feel sorry for, and it's not me as necessarily a Chelsea fan. We're quite lucky. We're quite good. We're going to be on telly quite a lot. But the thing that really annoys me is for the likes of Fulham, team up the road. For the likes of Brighton, not necessarily got the most massive fan base out there. Burnley, the likes of Southampton. These are the teams that quite regularly are going to be on 3 o'clock kickoffs, and it's going to be pay-per-view. It's not fair. It's not fair. We have to do it, I think it's twice this month. We have to pay 30 quid on top of what already is an extortionate bill of Sky and BT and all this stuff. And it's not right. And I completely understand why they're doing it. They need to get money in. Yes, of course, they have to. But £15 per game. And now let's use Chelsea Crystal Palace as an example. It's on TV. We were all able to watch it. Crystal Palace were never really in that game. Unfortunately, they got whacked. It's good for us, but unfortunately for them, imagine if you had to pay 15 quid to sit at home and watch football. Plus, on top of everything else you already do. Absolutely everything else you already do. But yet, you've got to pay £15 to watch your team maybe get annihilated. 7-2. Obviously, it's a ginormous result, of course, for Aston Villa against Liverpool. Liverpool fans, they won't be too bothered by this. They're champions. They're going to be on TV pretty much every single week. They're not going to be too bothered. But in a time like this, where people are losing money, people are getting made redundant just before Christmas, the biggest holiday of this nation, and all around the world, to be fair, one of the biggest holidays around the world, Christmas is coming up, and people aren't going to be able to afford it. And something I'm just going to mention very, very quickly, someone that I've had an experience with, and I'm not going to go too deep into it. Mental health. Football helps mental health. It completely does. And people are saying, oh, well, you're paying £15, Joe, but watch a game and it's going to help it. Football is so much more than that. Football is so much more than that. It's the camaraderie. It's the banter. It's I can ask Lewis. Lewis, what's your favourite away day memory? Ajax, yeah, because it was a great trip, wasn't it? Because you were around some good people. Yeah. Too right. It's not necessarily about what goes on in the game. Yes, Batshuayi got an absolutely cracking winner in that. Man, upset the odds and win at Ajax. But the trip was about so much more than that. It was about going away. It's about enjoying Ajax for whatever reason Lewis does. But it's about enjoying the football the way that it should be, with people around you, enjoying it. And we can't do that anymore. Yes, that's because of a lockdown. And please, people, stay indoors, take care, stay safe, do all that stuff. But please, for God's sake, do not feel pressured into watching Chelsea games, watching Fulham games, Brighton games, Southampton games, Burnley games, Man United games, Tottenham games, whoever it is your team. Don't feel pressured to watch those games. It does help your mental state, of course. But I'll tell you what helps it more is being around good people, which you may not have at home. Go to the pub, watch a game of football. It may not be your team, listen to it on the radio. You can still do that. That's always going to be free to air. But the pressures that are being put on people to spend 15 quid every single week for a fair few teams, it won't be every week, but it'll be like it. Chelsea got to pay £30 this month. Fulham, let's say 4 games of theirs are going to be on 3 o'clock kickoffs, not worth putting on TV. That's 60 quid. 60 quid, and they're not even going to a game. They're not getting outdoors. They're not doing anything like that. I'm not going to mention a name, but someone I know wanted to do an exercise class. And the idea was you're meant to have camaraderie and banter, and it was all meant to be good fun and help lose weight and all this stuff. And then they said, after about 2 weeks, oh, we can't do it now, we're going to do it at home, we're going to go on a Zoom call. You're not getting out. You're not being sociable. One of the main things Boris was on about months and months and months ago was being able to go out and get your little hours exercise, get outside, do something healthy. And yet all of a sudden now we're the ones that are being made to stay indoors by ourselves and watch games of football and pay to do it. Pay to do it. Now, of course, I want to support all Premier League clubs. I do. But what I'd really like to see more, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I tell you what, I'm going to at least try and say it. Premier League footballers are on absolutely ginormous wages. Absolutely ginormous wages. Take a little cut. It helps out the clubs, it helps out the people, it helps out absolutely everything. It's not going to happen, of course. It's not going to happen. But this is a simple matter of the fact. People's lives are going to be drastically different in the next few months. Who knows if we go back into lockdown? Who knows what is going to happen? But I tell you what is going to happen is people are going to become indoors, they're going to stay indoors, they're going to become lonely, they're going to become bored, and it's all going to revolve around the football. Football helps mental health, 1,000,000%. But I'll tell you what helps it more is getting outside and actually doing stuff that's productive. Whether it's going to be going for a run, whether it's going to be doing some exercise or, going to the pub, whatever it is your thing, go and do it. Go and do it. There's already a rule of 6 in place, and unfortunately it is what it is. People are saying about how many households you're going to be able to link with. What's that going to happen with that? Who knows? These are such uncertain times. This is the point I'm trying to get at. Such crucial times of unknown, unknown everything. Unknown everything. You don't know whether today, tomorrow you get the virus, you've got to stay indoors for 2 weeks. You don't know this. But I can tell you for a fact what you do know, and the Premier League will know this as well, many people will know this, is that paying £15 to watch a game of football every single week while sat on your arse at home is not going to do anyone the world of good. It might help out some Premier League clubs. Yes, they're missing out on match day stuff. I completely get that. I completely get it. But I'll be honest with you, I think I prefer to miss a game of football than spend 15 quid watching it, and it might not even be that good. It might not even be that good. I've been on Chelsea away days, we've gone and got whacked. We've gone and got absolutely whacked, but the banter on the car in the way up there, that's what you go for. You go for the social aspect. It's a positive if Chelsea win, of course. It's a great result. But the realism is that football doesn't survive without the fans. And if the fans are very simply, and I'm going to swear, if the fans are bored shitless sitting at home paying money on top of what they are already paying to watch football, you're pricing out the fans, and football does not exist without the fans. I don't know how many minutes I've been going for. This is a little bit of a rant, but I just want to get this point across. We are in such trying times. There is so much going on, and people don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You've got absolutely no idea. And for Premier League clubs, all of them, bar Leicester, and I'm going to give credit to Leicester, 19 of them voting for doing pay-per-view games. Do you know what I mean? 19 clubs out of 20. 19 clubs out of 20 want to help their own pockets, and I completely understand why. But there is 23, 24, 25, up to 30 members of a squad. 30 members of a squad. And they're on their normal wage, doing normal stuff, absolutely chill. And I'm not going to say all of them are going to be able to just drastically cut down all their wage. But I tell you what, even if they gave 1%, 2%, things like that, that helps. That helps massively. Football kits, what's it now? 70, 80 quid for a shirt, if not more. Plus you got TV packages, you're looking at 150 quid a month in that, plus then whacking 15 quid on top of it every single week you're not on TV. Your game isn't deemed worth of national interest. Do you understand what I'm saying? Pubs can be closed, everything can be closed. There's so many unknown factors. Premier League clubs, you're never going to change it, but I'm just going to get my point across. Think about the fans, for God's sake. I tell you what, fans, go and watch your team. Non-league team, there'll be one round the corner from you, they're all over the bloody place. Go and watch them, they're allowed fans in, and of course we all want to be back in there, of course we do. And I'll be honest with you, and I think if Chelsea fans were allowed back in there, or all football fans were allowed back in their stadium, £15 to do it per game, I think maybe I could stretch to it. Because at least there's some people getting the most out of it. But we're sat at home, we are sat at home doing nothing. These times are so unpredictable. I keep banging on about it, and I'm going to finish on this. These times are so unpredictable. Just think, for God's sake, think about the impacts you're going to have on people. For God's sake, think about the impacts you're going to have. Yes, your club may not be making as much money as you'd like to. Fine. Okay, whatever. but just think about the people whose lives are going to be impacted by sitting at home, having to watch their team play on a Saturday afternoon and having to pay for that as well. For God's sake, man, just fix up, will you? Fix up. Thanks for watching. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. Premier League, ruining the game of football. Who knows?